before we get started, I wanted to let somebody know something that was very near and dear to my heart. I left
Okay.
her a message this morning. So, Memory sent to me
Oh, yeah,
the
that's,
passing of John
jeez.
Erickson
That dude was awesome. I love that guy. Oh my gosh.
and Tom Hutchinson,
Yep, both
which,
of them. Oh my gosh.
both wonderful people. Tom was
Yep.
very near and dear to my heart. Not that John
Yeah.
wasn't, but I was very close to Tom, because of
Yep.
golf and everything. I had a
Well,
lot of
Tom was like
admiration.
a few doors down on Oakview Lane when I moved from Wallali Way. Yeah, he and Tim were like right down the street from me. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're always around those guys.
So I wanted to acknowledge Memory and the word she wrote a lot of things, that touched me. Truthfully, I cried when I saw both of their faces. And she said she went to the celebration of life for John, and
Hmm.
she learned so much about him she did not know. She feels like she
Hmm.
missed out on a part of life. And what she said was, I'm so glad you and Mike are doing what you're doing because our friends have done a lot of great things
Hmm.
and we wouldn't have known, or they fought
Yeah,
through adversity. We would have never
for sure.
known. She said, I'm so thankful that I went to John's thing. And so I want to acknowledge Memory. I want to acknowledge the passing of John, the acknowledge the passing of Tom. We've lost a lot of friends,
Hmm.
and we just need to keep, their memories alive. And,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
uh, somebody said it, well, I've heard it a bunch of times because I've been to too many celebrations of life is
Hmm.
there's two passings. There's the first passing when, their soul has left us. And the second is when we quit talking about them. So let's never quit talking about our
Never
friends.
quit talking. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that Disney movie. Is it Encanto or no? The one where that's what they say is the more that we don't talk about them, the more they fade away. So I purposely talk about as many people that I know have passed away as possible, including my ex-wife's parents. I mean, they were both of them were awesome people. So I try to keep the memory of as many people as I can alive just by talking about them as if they're right here. Sitting right next to me.
Some of
So
them
yeah, both
still
those
are.
guys are awesome dudes, man. Even way back when, you could tell they were going to be awesome people. And you're right. I mean, none of us know how much time we get, so carpe diem, man. Seize the moment. You know.
Exactly. I remember a wise man said that in his interview on Imperfect Authenticity.
I live it. It's not.
Yeah. Well, you
It's
are
just
now. You are now. And we're
yeah,
going to
yeah,
on
yeah.
and we're going to on Saturday when we see each other at UCLA.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna go?
I am. Well, wait, was I
Okay.
not invited? Did
No, no,
something
no.
change?
I
Do you have
just
somebody
didn't
more
know if
fun
you.
to take?
I didn't know if you had any more fun things to do, like going to the beach.
We don't go to the beach. We live here.
Just make sure you get there at like nine ish, so you
Okay.
can get as much. Not have to rush and just kind of saunter out to the field. And yeah, it's just after all these years, it's almost like it never happened. And it's
Yeah.
like a dream, but it's real. Like you were there, you were experienced. That was one of the neatest parts of that when you were there was that I have a witness. This is my friend. He's witnessing this. It's
Seeing a part of your
actually
life.
true.
The
And
difference this year is the last time was 2 months after my surgery, and
yeah,
I had
right,
had I had so much
right.
pain
That's right.
through here and restriction. I could barely throw the baseball. I'm
You still
back,
had a good
baby.
throwing motion. Yeah, you still
Yeah,
had a good
well, the
throwing motion.
motion was there, but no velocity. I felt like I was throwing Nerf balls compared to your missiles at me.
All right. Well, that. So this is my turn. So
Okay,
you
I'm
are the
silent.
interview. You're the interviewee. I hope I don't screw this up. You do such a great job.
Oh,
I
I
I
just
would be
ask
lucky
questions
to
and let
even come
people.
close to your ability to interview. Of course, both of us have been interviewing people for 30 plus years or whatever. So hopefully it turns out
Yes,
okay.
I'm interested in the things that pique your interest about me.
Oh, and it's a long list, Jim. So brace
Mm,
yourself. Yeah.
okay.
So the first one, as a segue from what we just talked about, is how stoked are you going to be for Edwin Diaz at the house that Koufax built every night trying to get the win with Timmy Trumpet and Narco blaring over those humongous speakers at Dodger Stadium.
Well,
What's your
so it's
thought?
weird. I'm totally fired up,
Yeah,
but the game is so different to me the way that it used to be. I grew up in a time when we had a bona fide, true fireman of the year, reliever that might make 100 appearances and close out every night. It's a little different now. It's
like
a
Mike
lot of
Marshall.
times, yeah,
Yep.
Mike Marshall, exactly who
Yeah.
I was talking about.
Right.
And
Right.
now it could be anybody on any night. Now,
Right.
maybe it was last year because we didn't have anybody that they felt like they could trust,
Yeah.
and that's
Right.
so it was by committee who was going to get that call. Now, do I think Diaz is going to get the call 99.9% of the time? Sure, because they're giving him a ton of money. And,
It's going to be so entertaining. In addition to him being awesome, it's going to be pure entertainment. It's going to be like Fernando Mania all over again.
yeah, it'll be, as
A game over
the
Gagne, who is my
social
favorite
makeup.
Dodger, by the way. Gagne is my favorite Dodger. I love that dude.
Um,
Oh my god.
he was on my list, maybe top 10, maybe I don't know because he broke my heart more than once. But I
Oh,
think
okay.
I think Diaz is going to be special to the fans that Dodger Stadium attracts. I
Yeah.
think
Right.
there'll be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
build up. There'll be the
Right.
build up after the bottom of the eighth. The
Yeah.
music will come on blaring. People stand up. It'll be electric,
Right.
especially the first time he steps
It's
on
an
the mound,
event. Yeah.
and then he'll just do his thing. And I love baseball and I love what it means to me. It represents my family growing up the way I did, and I'm sure you'll probably ask me about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Winning is is a nice thing. It's not the most important thing. It's still, to me, theatrics. It's
Yeah.
the big
Exactly.
moments
That's
of,
why they
like,
call it the show.
yeah, and you look at the World Series, and a bunch of us Dodger fans that are all in communication, we were all okay if the Dodgers had lost to the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays played so fabulous. There were
Oh,
so
they were
many
tough.
great moments in
Yeah.
that
Right.
series.
Yeah.
Key things that, are still embedded in my head. Pitcher trying to get somebody over the plate, thinking they're over the plate, batter retreats, oh, clears his space and turns and hits a home run down the line twice. That
Mm-hmm.
happened where pitcher thought he had the upper hand, getting guys leaning over the plate, and what do? Step
Yeah.
away, lean back, turn, and jack it out. That's what makes baseball so unique.
Right. Yeah.
Athletics is complicated now because of the fear of fixing games for the gamblers and all that. Baseball seems very difficult to me because even if a pitcher intentionally pipes one, the hitter still has to hit it,
Right.
and so that's why
Mm-hmm.
baseball is still the purest form because it's still the ultimate team game. A pitcher can be flawless and still lose a game. A
Mm-hmm.
hitter can go 5 for 5 and still lose the game. They
Right.
have to play with the team, and I think that's why I've always loved it. I always loved team. I
Yeah.
there's no I in team. A cliche, maybe, but it's true. There's no I in team because you can go 5 for 5, but if your team loses, it's an empty feeling.
Right.
Unless you're a selfish son of a bitch, you
Well, when
know.
I played, they used to say all the time that you're I don't know, a nanosecond away from the difference between a hero and a goat on a
Yeah,
constant basis. You were talking
yeah,
about P. Fondersmith at one, a lot at length. There was a point when I was 17 where I struck him out. I thought, oh my God, what did I just do? That's weird. What did I just do? I just struck him out. But of course, the game moves on. It keeps going, right? So you can't revel in the moment. There's
no,
another guy with a bat in his hand right behind him. So it's it's just that is why the game is such a draw, as far as I'm concerned. Why people are so drawn to it, because it's so cerebral and complex in so many different ways that it's never ending. How you can geek out on the game.
yep. It's kind of like you're talking about striking out Pete. What that does is it gives you a bank deposit in your brain.
Right.
that,
Yeah.
then you can, I did it in baseball, I did it in golf, is I would go to a place and visualize that best shot or that best throw or that best hit or
Right.
whatever in the moment to try and remain positive and play in a moment of
Mhm.
confidence rather than in a moment of fear.
Okay, so here let's start. Let's go all the way back. I want to start from the very beginning. You
Hmm.
told me you were born in Southern California. Was it Los Angeles or
Santa
Orange County?
Monica.
Santa
Santa
Monica. Oh,
Monica.
one of my favorite places. I'm staying there this weekend.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's changed a little bit. Yes, I was born in Santa Monica Hospital in
in
1966.
1966,
Yep,
and that was May,
March.
March.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'll be 60 in March.
So you were born March of 66 in Santa Monica, and I was conceived in March of 66 in Long Beach.
So did Bob and Marty
Ooh.
tell you about the moment? Did they say, "Hey, here's where"? Because
No,
my dad
I
likes to
did the
joke that.
math. I
Oh,
did the math.
my dad likes to joke that I believe, maybe I'm wrong, that I think I was conceived in the back of a Volkswagen,
Well, I've
which
said
is,
that for many years, man. I've said that so many times.
I really
Oh
don't
my
want to
God, that's
picture.
fun.
I really don't want to
That's
picture
hilarious.
the moment of coitus with my parents, but God
Oh
bless
my
them.
goodness. Oh boy, lest we digress here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then your family moved from Santa Monica to Sacramento
Hazel,
or Fair Oaks right away,
Fair
or
Oaks. We moved
oh,
right to the palatial 871 square foot mansion on Hazel Avenue,
okay,
which was
all right,
really cool. You
yeah,
could haul nuclear waste on Hazel, so it was a great place to grow up. But I will say this: when we moved there, my memories as a young kid, there were a lot of horses on Hazel Avenue.
yeah,
There were
yeah. It
not
was
nearly as
horseback
many
range, yeah.
cars. It was kind of, for a while, kind of a cool experience, growing up on Hazel, and then it just got progressively worse and more dangerous. Like it's hard to train somebody to ride a bicycle and push them down a steep driveway when cars are going 70 miles an hour. It's just me.
All I remember is you asked me last time. Did you ever come over to my house? Of course I did. The one time that sticks in my head was like I think I mentioned this to you, where it was like a Saturday afternoon, and the game of the week was on. I don't know
Joe
if it was
Garagiola and
Joe
Tony Kubek.
Garagiola, yeah, Tony
Yeah.
Quebec, and it was the Dodgers, I believe, or the Yankees, one of the two. And you had this TV that to me was like, the equivalent of like 100-inch wide TV now, right? Because our TV
Yeah.
was like 20 inches, and you had to
Well, you know
go up
why?
to it.
Because Bob wanted you to be educated and read books, and I was raised by sitcoms. I mean, I I think the Fonz raised me.
Well, that makes sense because that is the next thing I want to get to. So your family moves to Fair Oaks, and that was when you were how old?
Too.
Two. Okay, so
Yeah.
68, 68
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah. Late
Okay,
68, I guess.
and then you're going to elementary school. Oh, you went to private school
I did.
right away.
Sacramento Union. Well, I don't remember it like right away because I think I went to Palisades for kindergarten because I
Okay,
have
yeah.
this memory of Halloween wetting my costume. I was wearing a Frankenstein mask. I couldn't untie
You
it in the back.
could get it
So I
off.
did the smart thing, just piss myself and cry and then have them come get my mother. And then
Oh my god, that's funny.
I don't know all the details, but I guess they used to administer IQ tests, and I scored through the roof. And my great aunt Helen, a wonderful human being,
Yeah.
very angelic. I there were two women in my life, and don't get me wrong, I love my mother, and she'll understand. I had two angelic people in my life: my aunt Helen, or she's my great aunt,
Right.
and
Okay.
my grandma Rosie. They were just like angelic creatures. Never had a
Yeah.
negative thing to say about
Wow.
anybody,
Right.
never cursed, any of those things. I loved as a child spending time with them, but my great aunt Helen took some interest in me because of the IQ test and decided that I should go to a private school. So they sent me to Sacramento Union Academy, which was Seventh day Adventist. It
Oh.
was a
Okay.
weird gig because I had to go to church on Saturdays. That's why I joined Little League very late. I
Okay.
didn't start playing until I was 10 because that's when I
Oh,
escaped the Seventh Day
okay.
Adventist cult. And
The Colts.
as a matter of fact, I didn't even get to go to tryouts. I
Oh,
remember that
okay.
because it was like a last minute thing. And I
Uh-huh.
had been playing a lot of baseball and stuff because I had a brother who was 7 years older. John was very
Right.
athletic, his
I remember
friends
John.
were very athletic. And I
Uh-huh.
remember
He was a
all at
second
once,
baseman, right?
he played center field. John was
Oh,
incredibly
okay.
fast.
Center field.
And I remember it all happening at once that I got to go to a public school and meet the likes of Jim Philpott and Chris Mayer at Pershing. And
Uh-huh.
then I got to go play Little League
Yeah.
and be around kind of normal people. And I'm not saying the Seventh day Adventist people weren't normal, but the curriculum was
Okay.
different. Praying, we prayed
Oh
three
God.
times a day. Being forced to go to church and stuff. I couldn't eat, I think it was sausage or shellfish or something.
I
The
think
whole
it's
thing was just,
shellfish. Yeah.
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 And so, man, I was so excited to go to a public school and meet kids that lived in my
Yeah.
neighborhood because I might not have met those guys otherwise, even though they were in the neighborhood, because
Yeah.
I was being shuttled across town to another school. And then they both played baseball and then helped me meet other people
Everybody else,
like
including me.
like everybody else at Jim David.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
so
why
you went from the Seventh Day Adventist Church to the Church of Baseball, right?
there our house was always the church of baseball
Yeah.
because my mother and father loved it so much. And I think I've shared that, my mother, as a matter of fact, I just heard it from somebody else. Somebody else came over to watch a game at our house. Kevin Joyce was thrown out of our house because he was cheering for the Mets. And another friend that came over when he was pretty young
Oh
said,
man.
I could not believe the intensity of your mother and how
Oh, okay.
vigorously she would cheer for the Dodgers. So yeah, it was the Church of Baseball in our
Yeah.
house.
And you said that you used to go to sleep listening to Dodgers games, right? So how
Yeah.
far back do you remember that being the case?
Oh my God, I can remember. Lori always says I'm full of shit that I have these memories that
Oh,
go
we all are
back
to
so
some
far, and
degree.
she's like, "There's no way you remember that," but I do remember because of. So we had the super low coffee table. I mean, so low that the only way I could get under it is if I was super, super young. I'm talking like three, four, and
Yeah.
five.
Yeah.
And we would turn off all the electricity in the house except for the radio so we could get the clearest signal to hear Vince Scully every night. And
Yeah.
the only reason I remember being so young is when I would get tired sometimes, I would lay underneath the coffee table and fall asleep listening to him.
In
And
that
then
front room.
sometimes I'd wake up, my dad would pick me up and he would carry
Yeah.
me to the room. So I fell asleep to the lullaby of Vin Scully. And even to this day, I still really enjoy listening to baseball on the radio
Mm-hmm.
because
Sure.
there's something about
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody elegantly calling a game and then hearing the crack of the bat and trying to figure
Yeah.
out, okay, was that
Right.
thing barreled or was it in
Yeah.
on the hands? And then hearing the immediate excitement of the fans. I still
Yeah.
like listening to baseball on
The
the
roar
radio.
of the crowd. There's nothing
Yeah,
like it, man. It's oh my gosh. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so you you went were you on the Astros when you were 10?
So because I didn't go to tryouts, they placed me on what's the league below national?
American?
American? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they put me on this American team, and I don't know what the name of the team was, but because I grew up playing with my older brother and all these friends, I had pretty decent skills,
Yeah.
and I remember I was hitting like about 950 after two games, and I
You only got
immediately
out one time?
yeah,
That's
and I
awesome.
remember
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and yeah, well, again, my brother and all of his friends kind of prepped me for stuff. And then I went to the Nationals, the National League, and I played two games there and did kind of the same thing. I hit about 900. And then I remember Craig Griggs' dad. The only reason I remember
Yeah, okay.
Al is he smoked a pipe that smelled really good.
Yeah.
And I met him after one of my games, and he goes, "Hey, if I call you up, are you ready to come play in the majors as a 10-year-old?" And I was pretty
Oh,
small, and I'm like, "Okay, I don't even know what that means, dude." I mean, okay.
sounds cool.
And I remember the only player I really remember on the team besides Craig. By the way, Craig was terrible. Um, John Delaney played on that team, and he's
Yeah,
married to Lori
yeah,
McDonald.
right, right.
And I remember Delaney was really good. He was a center fielder with great range,
He was
and it
pretty
was kind of
fast. Yeah,
cool. And the hard part about that was I played against Jeff Sills was a
yeah.
lot older,
I
and he
played
had a
with
brother I
Jeff
think
and
named
Bill Sills when I was
Bill.
on the
Bill
Pirates.
was
Yeah,
his younger
right.
brother, right?
Yep.
And I just remember everybody being so big, it was kind of intimidating. But it wasn't because I was still playing at home with my brother and all of his friends that were seven
Yeah.
years older,
So you're
you know,
already
that are like, yeah,
prepped to that
yes.
point. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Now they threw. I still remember the difference of being a national in that first at bat. My first at bat was against Jeff Sills,
Oh
and
wow. Okay.
I remember the first pitch, and I was like, wind up and the pitch. Oh
Yeah. Right.
where's the ball?
Well,
You know,
that dude
because
was like a man when he was 12. So yeah,
and I think in Little League it's like the mound might only be 48 feet instead of 60
46.
or
Right.
46, and I was like,
So
holy
70
shit, that was
miles an
on me.
hour, 70
Yeah,
miles an hour is like 100 or 90 something, right?
yeah,
It was,
and
yeah.
so that's how I ended up on the Astros.
Okay. So then the next year, 77, is when I
Yeah,
met you.
yeah,
You were 11 and I was 10. So that leads me to the next question, which is right away, I recognized that you had this, as I've mentioned before, this panache, this sort of, I don't know, swag. It wasn't even a word back then, but I guess the question is how, I know that you always dummy this down and play it down and this, that, and the other. No, I mean, you always had the style that none of the rest of us had. So was that because you were kind of in tow with your brother all those years to that point? Or what was the reason for
yeah.
that?
So it's so there. This is a pretty interesting question. I've never really thought about it because your perception of me is different than my perception of me. Now, did I know that I was good? Yeah, I did. I mean, because it's pretty simple when you can look at other shortstops
Yeah.
and they're not making the easy plays, but I made the easy plays.
Yeah.
Um, but I think a lot of it just had to do with the fact that my brother and his friend Charlie and Danny Wetton and John McLaughlin and all these older guys would come over the house. We would play wiffle ball.
Yeah.
A lot of times beanball
Right.
wars. We played
Right.
basketball. We had a pretty
Yeah.
big backyard, so we played basketball. We played
Yeah.
football. You want to find out how to get tough? These guys, we had those
Oh yeah.
wooden fences. They
Right.
would purposely let me score touchdowns so they could tackle me into the fence.
Yeah.
You find out how tough you are because the first time you try, they're relentless. And
Right.
then pretty
And then they
soon
keep
you're
you
just,
down so you can't
yeah,
breathe, right? So you can't.
yeah.
They want to make sure you recognize that they're the boss and not
Oh,
how
yeah.
many years older or whatever. Yeah, I remember all that.
So let me tell you a couple of stories that nobody knows. Um, you want to talk about strange? These guys love to torture me because I was mouthy. We had olive fights. Mayor and Philpott will attest to the fact I was probably the best olive fighter on the planet. I could hold my own at age 11 with anybody. And I would pelt those guys. I was not afraid because I wasn't afraid to get hit by the olive. So I wasn't behind the tree. I
Yeah.
was elf. I was elf with all the snowballs just pelting, pelting, pelting. Well, these guys would get
Yeah.
so pissed. Now, picture this. Most people know I grew up on Hazel Avenue, super busy. They'd
Yeah.
get so pissed that more than once they would strip me down, take off all my clothes. They can lie all they want. This happened. Took off all my clothes, tied my hands behind my back, threw me over the
Whoa.
fence into the neighbor's yard. And I would have to, with my hands behind my back, find a way to stand up. I would
Running
have to,
down Hazel Avenue. Yeah.
well, I'd have to open the gate with my face.
Oh my God.
I'm like fucking MacGyver, trying to figure out
Oh
how to
God.
survive. And then I would have to run up Hazel Avenue naked
Yeah.
and beg for them to let me in the house.
Open the door. Yeah.
Other things they loved doing, when the olives turned purple, they would put them down my pants and spank me. My mom would get pissed because my underwear was all purple, my ass was all purple, and they did stuff like that. I still
Oh
remember
my God,
it
that's
was
funny.
Danny or Charlie. They wanted to see if my underwear was strong enough to staple me to the ceiling to see if it would hold me. I got
Torture, pure torture, man. Yeah,
squeegees when you pull it up in the front, and then they
yeah,
called it a Murphy when they would
yeah.
pull up the
Murphy.
front and the back. And so I think that's why maybe my sense of humor is
Oh
the
my
way it
God.
is. It's pretty self-deprecating,
Well,
to deal
and
with
that's
things.
scraping such a low that everything else from there is up, right? So you have no fear. So that
I
makes
had
sense that you had no fear. Yeah,
I had zero fear because I what's the worst thing that can happen if I get
exactly.
up and I
Right.
strike out? What's the worst thing that can
I've
happen
already
if I make an
experienced
error?
the worst. Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think I don't call it swag. I call it survival. I just,
It's the
I,
Zohan swag. There you go.
well, and not to mention, think
I don't know.
about
It's a
when we,
style. Yeah.
when we were 11, 12 was a lot more fun. Okay. When we
Yeah.
played together when
Right.
we were 12 because of the cast of characters and the
Yeah.
maturation process and all of that. But, we played with a lot of fun people. And so even if we
Exactly.
lost,
Right.
we
Good
had
people.
fun doing it. And when we were 11, we
Right.
weren't that great.
Yeah.
And so the expectation wasn't like
We had
sky
zero
high.
expectation.
Yeah.
Just like
And
what you just
so,
described.
yeah.
We can't do worse than that. So let's just go see what happens.
So
Right.
there's your long answer. Could have been a shorter
I
one,
love it.
but
Yeah.
I've never in public
Well,
told anybody that I
yeah.
was thrown over the fence naked into my neighbor's yard.
Well, this is on
And
YouTube now, so you are worldwide now.
yeah, I mean, just
John
think
is probably
about
cringing in his boots right now listening to this
he
when
doesn't
he
care.
does this.
I mean, he doesn't. I mean, probably selective memory. He'll say, "We didn't do that." Sorry, got a bunch of witnesses, bro. These are the same. These are the same dudes that we're just total hellions around the
Yeah.
holidays. They were the ones on Halloween. If anybody got pelted by eggs and stuff, it was these guys. They were total deviants.
Oh man. Okay, so 77 was kind of hit and miss year, but I could see personally, from my perspective, I could see what could happen. I mean, especially with you as, if not a leader, the leader, if not the leader, a leader. I mean, you really were the leader of that group, and it was just a group of people. It wasn't just baseball. It was just a group of young kids that wanted to try to come together and do something cool. Like winning is fun. So then
Yeah.
78 comes around, and then your leadership qualities, in my opinion, as an observer, went quantum beyond 77. Of course, we had 12-year-olds that moved on, like Mark Farhang and stuff. So now you're the leader, you're the guy, and you and Andy Wingfield. So your ability to play the game was top notch, and your ability to lead was top notch. That was the thing that came through to me about you. And that was when I became a Jim Sorm fan, not just because we won the thing and we beat the Yankees and all this kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, that was fun, but it was the camaraderie. It was you showing me what being a leader is about, leading other people, other peers, uh, being a leader to grown-ups like my dad. I mean, my dad was extremely hard to please, and somehow he fell in love with you. I mean, you just had
Well,
that.
I fell in love with him. I mean,
Yeah.
we have parents, okay, and they teach us different parts of our lives, but they can't teach us everything. I mean, it's kind of like life in general. If you want to learn some stuff, you go listen to experts. Um, your dad taught me some things that clearly my parents can do. I was raised. It's really funny. I think about Larry Fletcher and the way I was perceived. Like I didn't give a shit
Yeah.
about my elders. And it was quite the opposite. I was raised to really respect my elders. And sometimes my respect was shown by treating them like the men that they were, not as a kid, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, um, your dad taught me a lot in preparation and let's face it, preparation is what gives you confidence, and confidence is what carries you through the tough moments because then it
Sure.
becomes like muscle memory sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad was incredibly influential to me.
Mm.
And I don't think I intentionally felt like a leader by any stretch. I just wanted to win. And this is why we're going to be doing this baseball thing, is
Yeah, yeah,
because
of
we
course.
both have this love of the game. Yours is a much deeper knowledge than mine will ever be because you traveled so much further in the sport. But it's the things like that that I truly recognize and appreciate about the game is you can see who the leader is in a
Mm-hmm.
key moment. You
Right.
can see when there's a key at bat. And I'll go to the Giants. And I'm terrible when it comes to Giants knowledge, but who was the manager through the
Bruce
three World
Bochy.
Series? Bruce Bochy. So
Yeah.
what I saw in him that absolutely blew me away is late in the game, he could call a guy into the on deck circle, in a key at bat that's hitting like
Mm-hmm.
260. Um, and Bochy would go comfort them.
Mm-hmm.
And I got you, Mike. We're going to run a little bit longer. And he would instill that confidence that
Yeah.
you're going to do this. And
Right.
what blew me away about those teams was their unbelievable ability to score late in the game
Mm-hmm.
and win games that were tight because that's what the Giants did. I didn't think they were the
Yeah.
best team in baseball. I thought they were the best team at winning in
Right.
baseball during those
Right.
stretches. And I
Especially the
had,
tight games.
yeah, and I had
Mike Krukow
unbelievable
calls that
appreciation for
money
that.
hitting. Mike
Yeah,
Krukow calls that money hitting. So when the money's on the line, when the game's on the line, can you come through? And that was something
yeah,
that you did it very well yourself. So many things in the game of baseball translate 100% into life. And that to me is the allure of baseball more than any other
yeah.
sport for me. I think it's the same for you. I think you feel the same way. Um,
Well, I think sports in general teach you a lot of different things, whether it is playing golf, playing baseball. I love basketball as much as any sport, but I quit growing and then I dislocated this finger so many times that I quit shooting. But all of those things, the one constant I saw in every single winner,
mhm.
whether it was Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, or I'll throw myself way back. The heyday of the Dodgers for me was when Garvey St. Lopes and Russell were all together all those years.
Right. Yeah. Late
Bill
70s.
Russell and Steve Garvey got so many clutch hits, and you could tell
Hmm.
they wanted the bat in that moment. You could just see it. They were confident they had those things. And so when I watch sports, that's what I'm looking for. Tiger
Yeah.
Woods
Rise to the
wanted to
occasion.
hit the shot. He was
Yeah.
unquestionably one of the best pressure players to ever play. And then
Hmm.
like Nicholas, so that's why I fell in love with baseball.
Sure.
Is I
Okay.
got
So 1978, we win the whole thing, and then you pretty much just move on. You moved on to another sport, which I remember when we played together on the Astros. You would always go hit balls.
yeah,
I didn't know anything about golf, so I thought it was kind of cool. Like,
that made
wow,
two of us.
he's doing something else. That's kind of neat. I don't even know anything about that sport. And then, seemingly, in an instant, you just kind of made that transition 100% to golf. I mean, you played a little bit more, but then kind of golf was your thing from that point.
Yeah, it was more emotional than anything. I found so much joy in it because it's just a different thing. It's the way I'm wired. I just love people, Eric.
But it spoke to you more. Is that,
It did because I had this weird opportunity to be around grown men. And I'm not
yeah.
talking like a
Okay.
Catholic
So that matches your
priest type of
personality.
relationship,
There you go.
bad
Yeah.
humor.
Right.
Um, and I played with lawyers, doctors,
Yeah.
politicians, and I think as a kid, I appreciated the company of adults more than I appreciated the company of
Mm-hmm.
kids. And I think a
Yeah.
lot has to do, again, with my brother being 7 years older. I just was
Okay. That
always
makes sense. Yeah.
drawn to that. I'm
Right.
incredibly immature, but I always enjoyed that. And so I missed baseball a bit, but it's
Hmm.
just like a different feeling sitting in a dugout with your
Yeah,
buddies as opposed to being out there for 4 hours
with a
and
bunch of
talking
adults.
to a guy
Right.
that,
Okay.
fought in Vietnam. And some
Yeah.
people, I actually met people that fought in World War II, which is
Wow.
crazy because I was
That's
so
amazing.
young and they were aging and all of that.
Yeah.
And it taught me some disciplines that were different. And so
Yeah.
that ultimately, that's how I fell in love with it. And then
Okay.
the measuring stick, because I'm pretty competitive, was different because I could see my improvements
Hmm.
more than I could in baseball.
And it's
I could
you
see,
versus you. It's a different thing. Like
yeah,
it's like when I throw in the backyard now, it's me versus me. Golf to me is like a me versus me kind of a thing. Even though you're playing it against someone else, you're really playing it against yourself. Is that fair to say?
yeah. And then the other thing is it was something my dad and I could share.
Oh, okay,
And
there you go. Yeah,
and let's face it, as a kid,
yeah,
your heroes are your parents. They're
yeah,
not perfect, but they're still your heroes. And
yeah.
I loved to fish with my dad when I was a kid. And then he and I got to share golf.
Okay.
And he would drop me off at 6 a.m. I would play with retired people all day, and then he'd join me in the afternoon. And a lot of times
Oh
we
wow,
played till dark, and it was a lot of fun for me.
very cool.
I like the
Yeah,
competitive side, but it was really just like the camaraderie side. I
yeah.
made a lot of friends and
Right.
then made a real good friend out of my dad.
And you also mentioned years ago that you met people like Louis Tiant and all
I
the
did.
Johnny Miller. And did you meet Johnny Miller? I think you did, right?
No, I met Pat Summerall.
Pat
Um,
Summer. Okay.
yeah, so when I'll share those two stories and then we'll pivot on because this ties into what we're doing. The Louis Tiant thing, he was a hero of mine.
Yeah.
Even though he played for the Red Sox, let's face it, he was a unique pitcher, and a lot of us copied him when we played wiffle ball. One day, I used to go out to El Dorado Hills, and I kind of cringe when I say this. It was a public golf course. I would take my shoes off. I'd be in my shorts. I'd take my shirt off, and
That's
I'd
all
go to
you,
this,
man.
and I would go to
That's
this,
all you, dude.
and I'd go to this little chipping area, and I loved chipping the golf ball. And
Yeah.
one day I was chipping, and this guy, I look over and I go, Jesus, that's Louis Tiant, I think. And then I saw the Miller Lite bag because he was sponsored by Miller Lite at the time.
Okay.
And he walks up to me and says, "Hey, boy, can you teach me that?" And I'm going to truncate this story. There was a lot more to it, and it started a friendship that went on for a long time. I was lucky enough
Until
to
he
be
passed
there for
away,
his.
right?
I was there at his 50th birthday, where Miller Lite held a birthday party for him. I actually got to get up and speak in front of a large group,
Wow.
including, I remember there were a lot of people there from his past. I remember Carlton Fisk was there. That was kind of cool. And
Yeah.
so I met him as a result. And then later in life, Pat Summerall was always a hero of mine because I don't think anybody outside of Vince Scully called their sport the way he did. There was something
Yeah.
he
Very
and Madden had,
resonating voice and
he and Madden
yeah.
had really good
Yeah.
chemistry. And I was a pro at the time. I had tried to qualify for the AT&T. I was unsuccessful. I went over to Cyprus and I ran into Summerall and ended up caddying for him for 18 holes. And
Oh,
he
cool.
was a wonderful man and he shared everything about his life and explained football. He barely wore pads and how banged up he was and a lot of tremendous humility in the man. And I really enjoyed it. So golf has been a great vehicle for me, both in business and my personal life to cultivate
Hmm.
great friendships because I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, the most important things in life are love, family, and friends. And the most valuable currency we have
Hmm.
is time, empathy, and listening. There's nothing better than family and friends.
Well,
Just
and that's the
nothing.
that's the neatest thing about this, alumni game where you can be with me. My friend Casey Gillum's going to be there from the Reds. Chris Navarro's going to come. I mean, this is the part that is so exciting for me because it's all of us experiencing this together. It's like
Yeah.
it's like rewinding all the way back to the beginning at several levels, but it's just baseball is a medium. It's not the thing. It creates the thing that we
Yeah.
have that we can share together. This is an shared experience, right? Um,
And that's why I look forward to our little show
yeah.
is, baseball brings back so many cool memories and frankly, a lot of the memories, the walk-off home runs that we've seen in history will also place us in a time. zone of our
Right.
life that
Yeah.
certain things were happening and all of
Yep.
that. And then it'll allow us to again bring our friends into the fold and talk about the unique friendships because we do need to continue to illuminate the important things
Sure.
in life of friends, you know?
Yeah, and the thing that you taught me, I think, later in life, more than anything else, is to not be afraid to put myself out there and allow myself to be more available instead of not being closed off. You know, he told me in '09, hey man, why don't you just let people get to know you? You know, that they want to know you. So
Yeah, because you're a
what's
special
interesting.
guy. And I wanted people to see the things I get to see because that's what life is we're all learning from each other. And let's face it,
Yeah.
we've been through a lot in our lives, and sometimes the most indelible moments are the people that step forward and touch you in a
Oh,
time that you really
huge.
need it. Yeah.
I resisted at the time, but later on, I mean, you were right, 100%, 100% right. And that's one of those watershed events. Sort of, it's kind of subtle, but it ripples into the rest of that person's life. Who, me, takes those words to heart and says, well, maybe he's got a point. He's only known me since 1977. Maybe he's got a point. Maybe I should heed his words. You know, and that's what I think
Well,
was interesting about
uh, uh,
your style as a younger person. It makes perfect sense that you would transition to golf because you were an older person when you were a younger person,
yeah.
right? So
I hate
then
the saying old soul, but I
I think, yeah,
really,
I think
I
that's
mean,
true, right? Yeah.
there's so many people that stuck with me and their key words like I shared recently, just 7 years old, my dad saying, hey, go out of your way to make a senior citizens day. That it was those moments that like
That's amazing.
made
Yeah.
me made me like the person that I am. But then ultimately Emily's the one who sculpted me into the man that I needed to be, being her
Okay.
father.
So that's another question is how did having not only a child but having a daughter change your life?
Um, well, the one thing, it's funny, it's 22 years, and I remember holding her for the first time. And I remember smelling her. As weird as it is, I'm holding her, and for the very first time, somebody needed me,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I wanted to step up to it. And being her father is the most wonderful gift that will ever be given to me because it taught
Yep.
me about accountability.
Hmm.
It taught me about follow through, and it taught me about fighting. And I think fighting for her helped me through the cancer because
That was my next
I
question.
I
Yep.
was like her. I had to be her biggest advocate along with her
Hmm.
mother. We built a village of a lot of people. A lot of people that will watch this video were part of Emily's growth, and I thank all of
Hmm.
them. She she woke me up, because it's
Hmm.
really easy in life to prioritize money and prioritize assets and prioritize retirement and all of these things. And I'm sorry, you can't look that forward. You've got to look in the moment. And like the
Right now.
most important
Yep.
thing with Emily
Yep.
was being there in that moment. Every single moment
Yep.
might be that
Yep.
watershed moment
Being
where she
present.
transitions and blossoms.
Yep.
And I still remember a couple of key moments of her improvement. A lot of people played it, but I still remember a breakthrough for her was she was very shy, and there were a whole bunch of kids playing on this big jungle gym kind of thing, probably like 15 kids.
Hmm.
And I saw her looking longingly up there, wanting to be with the kids,
Hmm.
and she couldn't.
Yep.
So I went up there. I took her up there. We climbed up there, and I identified who the leader was. And
Hmm.
I went up and I introduced myself to him. And I said, I know this is crazy. I know I'm an old man. This is my daughter, and she would do anything to be a part of what you guys are sharing up here.
Yeah.
Could you please include her?
Yeah.
And he called everybody in. and he introduced himself to her. He looked her in the eye, shook her hand, and introduced her to everybody. And my
Wow.
daughter got to play with a large group of kids for the first time in her life.
Wow.
And
How
it
old was she?
gave her, this is probably 7,
7.
8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gave her the confidence because sometimes
Yeah.
to improve, you need confidence.
Right. And
Because
that's
so many
another
people,
ripple effect. That's another ripple
yeah,
effect towards the rest of her life. I mean, who
yeah,
knows if she doesn't have confidence, does she go to UC Davis? Does she graduate? I mean, we don't
yeah.
know. I mean, these are the ripple effects that happen in our lives that, I mean, if you go back and take that out, what happens from that point? What if it goes the other direction? So
Yep.
you stepping up and kind of, I guess, sort of segueing her into, I don't know if that's the right word, but facilitating her into the group. Maybe that's another watershed event in your child's life that gives her the confidence to do all these things that she's done that have been so great since that time, right?
And then the second moment was I used to get all, and I'm pretty certain you went. I get everybody together for her birthday, and we go to that
Yeah,
Mexican place over in Roseville.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And so I would get everybody together in her honor, and at the end, I would always make a speech and talk about
yeah.
the importance of family, friends, being there for us, all of that. And one year, Emily tugged at me and said, "Dad, can I say something?"
Oh wow,
And she had the courage to
jeez,
to stand in front of everybody, and she thanked every single person
wow.
at that table. I'd be curious to see if people watch this, how many were there and remember the moment. And
Oh man,
I don't think I've ever felt more pride in my life. And I'm very proud of my kid. She's a good kid. She's very respectful,
yeah.
not as respectful at times as I wish she was, but she's a good person. And in that moment, I even remember her acknowledging my mother. My mom
Wow.
was like the last person
Huh.
or second to last because there was a person that Emily said she didn't even know. And she says, "I'm not sure who you are, but thank you." And then acknowledged my mom. And in that moment, I started to feel like we're going to be okay. And as
How
parents,
old
we
was she
always work.
that? What was her age then?
I'm going to guess 12 or 13.
Wow,
I'm
that's
going to
big.
guess. I because
That's
and
big. And that's interesting because that age is when you, my friend, set yourself apart as well. I mean, that's kind of an interesting parallel there because you, again, from another person's perspective, being a year, not even a year younger than you, but you might as well be 10 years older than me at that point. But you are doing the same thing that it sounds like you're describing your daughter was doing at that same age. That's interesting.
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I almost
That's okay,
yeah,
man. No, when we talk about our kids, I mean, it can't get any deeper than that, right? Okay,
yeah,
so you are taking care of another human being, and it changes your life. And you meet Lori, and you guys get together, and you become a couple. And are you married? You're married, right?
yes,
Or
yeah,
okay, so then you get married, and then you find out that you have cancer, and
yeah,
now you have to, instead of you being there for everybody else, now everybody else is there for you. What in that moment, what did you hearken to? What did you call on through all these experiences, golf and baseball and school and church and this? What was it that you feel that you were able to tap into to rise above? Because you it's remarkable what you've been able to do.
So before I say anything, it obviously reminds me of Janet. I'm sorry. And it reminds me of other people that we've lost to this disgusting disease, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Insidious.
Insidious. So when I still remember the day that I found out I was ears, nose, and throat guy. I knew something was wrong. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he put the camera down my throat and he says, "Oh, I see what the problem is." And so I heard his tone and I was like, "Oh, okay, good." And he
Everything's
goes,
cool.
"Man,
Yeah.
you got a couple of good sized tumors."
Oh boy.
And
Jeez.
he pulls the camera out and and he looks at me and he goes, here's the thing, Jim. I've got a plan, and
Good.
let's go. And so I walked out of the office and I was absolutely lost. And the first call I made was
Yeah.
to Lori,
Stunned.
and I had to share with her. And I think we both kind of knew that this could be the outcome. And then
Mm-hmm.
I hung up with her, and my immediate thought was, how am I going to tell Emily?
Mm-hmm.
And then because, and this is going to sound really morbid, because of the amount of people that I've lost that I loved, um, because of that wide berth of life that I've lived and all the people I've come in contact with,
Mm-hmm.
death is about the people that survive. It's the pain of losing
Mm-hmm.
somebody they
Right.
care about.
Yep.
And so I
I feel
immediately
it
thought
every
of,
day.
yeah. And so I thought about the people that love me and all of that. And I was going to fight for them because I didn't want them to lose
Yeah.
me.
Right.
And
Yep.
so my fight came from fighting for the people I love. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even about me. It was about
A
fighting for the
cause
people I love.
outside of you. A cause
Yeah,
bigger than you. Yeah.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was tough. And Lori kicked my ass a bunch of times because I lost over 50 pounds. And I was really struggling. And but she gave me strength. And I will tell you, there are so many people that do not know her. You got to meet her.
I mean, it was
You
amazing
you
to be
got
able
to,
to go over to your house because I remember a little bit from way back when, but just a
yeah,
very small amount. And just the warmth that she exudes is remarkable. Yeah.
dude, she's amazing. She is. So I talked about my Aunt Helen and I talked about my grandma. And I don't want her to be uncomfortable knowing that I put her on a pedestal, but she is in their class as far as quality human beings. You
Yeah.
know, hardworking,
Right.
honest, caring. She is fierce. And
Yeah.
she was absolutely fierce getting me through this, waking me up. I had to sleep downstairs for a long time after the surgery and everything that I went through, and
Mm-hmm.
she would wake up with me, make sure I
Mm-hmm.
got my meds, made sure everything was a-okay, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I've said it over and over, and I'm not exaggerating. Without her, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
alive. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way that I could have done this on my own. And it was weird because I go back to I've spent my life taking care of people.
Right.
It's just,
Exactly.
it's the way I was raised. And even in the tough moments of 2009, when I'm saying, Eric, I need you to show yourself to other people and give
Mm-hmm.
this beautiful side of you to other people, you will find, and guess what you did? You found Janet because you
Exactly.
opened
I
up.
mean, look at that. That's what I'm saying. Those that's the ripple effect. What if I don't heed your words? You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so that's how I got through it. And it was all the little moments and the incremental things and the of improvement. And even as stupid as I couldn't eat for like 2.5 months. Nothing was
Wow.
good. It was brutal.
Jeez.
And the
Tastes
first
like
thing I
pennies.
enjoyed, what's that?
Did it taste like pennies? That's what Janet would tell me. It tastes like
It
pennies or
would
something.
taste like copper and it tasted
Copper.
like
Yeah.
chalk. And
Chalk. Okay.
the first thing I ever tasted
Oh.
that tasted good was frosted mini wheats. So I keep a shitload in the house as a reminder. I look at them as my reminder. And
Oh my
and
God.
frankly, we need our reminders.
Absolutely.
That's why
Yeah.
we're doing the show is
Right.
we need the reminders
Yep.
of the people we love.
Right.
And one of the
This is what
things
I
that'll
love about this show so much, Jim, is that, you know, for as much as we think that we talk to people all the time because of Facebook, we don't.
no,
We just scroll by. Oh, they're doing that. Oh, they're in Scotland. Oh, they're doing that. But we don't actually talk to them. We don't interact with them like you and I are right now. So the
yeah,
the beautiful thing about this show that you guys put together, in my opinion, is that it's like going back to the day when we all sat or stood in the quad and just go from one group to another, chit chatting, laughing away, and having a great time. Right? That's what I love about this show myself.
and
I agree 100%.
that's what Mike and I talk about. And it is a lot of good. Um, but there are times that I still get incredibly frustrated. I don't know how politics divides any of us because I look, I'm a very simple human being, the way I view the world. and what my
Mm-hmm.
value system is. But I still can't believe friendships and family members are being separated over a bunch of
Yeah, it's
politicians, because bottom line is
it's
this, as I see
wow.
the world,
Mm.
is all of us have had our hearts broken. All of us have experienced first love. All of us have experienced some pain of or loss. All of us have experienced health crisis within our
Mm-hmm.
families. And who stood by us? It was our
Yeah.
friends and our family that we've had forever. It will never be anybody in Washington, D.C. So I will not allow those people that don't care anything about me to affect the way I feel about the people that I
Mm-hmm.
love.
Sure.
Do I get frustrated?
Smart.
Yes. But at the end of the day, dude, the most valuable thing is what we're doing right here, right now,
Mm-hmm.
is being
I
able to
agree.
express that I
Mm-hmm.
love you and I'm so thankful that you're in my life. And I tell Mike and I tell each other, Mike, um, we tell each other we love each other when we
Yeah.
hang up. We've
Right.
shared a lot of very, very poignant moments when discussing our fears and our love of our kids. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's what life is. And
It
that's why
is.
Mike and I decided we should do something like this, give people a voice that would never get a
Mm-hmm.
voice. And again, I look at these
Yeah.
guys, they're
Yeah.
not here now. And
Yeah.
it makes me very sad. But I
Mm-hmm.
hope that they can at least touch one or two people, that force somebody to reach out to somebody today and say, we haven't spoken in a long time. We had a disagreement. I want my ego to be thrown away. I want my fear to be thrown away. And I just want to tell you, I love you and I want you in my life, because that is what life is, my friend.
Well, I say this all the time. As long as we're here, let's seize the moment, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
to inspire each other, because you know
Couldn't say it better.
you hit it right on the head. Take the ego out. We've every one of us has been there and done that thousands of times over. It does that means nothing. You know, money's up and down and all. It doesn't mean anything. What
Yeah.
matters is sitting here like you and I have been doing for, I guess it's been 20 years now since we reconnected, just chit chatting away and trying to figure out like how can we have a better life? How can we provide a better life for our daughters? How can we,
Yeah.
get more out of life? How can we include our friends in this journey that, I completely agree. That's why I love this show so much. I think, you and Michael, I mean, whatever lightning in a bottle came along, it's truly fantastic. And I'm glad to be able to listen to you and your story. I mean, of course, there's so many other things that we didn't talk about, but
It's okay. I'm pretty boring compared to so many of you, because I live
no,
a pretty simple life.
the thing that you did for me and have always done is that you show me a blueprint of what is cool, but yet substantial. Cool is cool, substantial, deeper meaning. A lot of the things that we did 20 years ago or 15, 20 years ago was just philosophizing about getting more out of life, right?
Yeah.
And, and then that goes back to when we first met in 1977. It just, the neat thing I think is tying all these things in together. I think you're going to be 60 here,
I
right?
am.
And I'm going to be 60 in December. So it's like, hey man, no time like the present. We've
Every
talked about
moment
this over and over
matters.
again. Every moment, especially when you have a child, you see the world through their eyes, and everything is so magnified. And
Yes.
we get to relive those years that you and I had so many years ago. It's truly awesome. So,
Um, any other questions? Because I think people know way too much about me, and again, I don't. I think my greatest accomplishment in my life is staying humble, learning from my mistakes, and picking up the phone as frequently as I do to be there for my friends, because I don't know where it all came from, Eric, but you know, you
somehow
guys
you
are
put
so
it all
important. You
together,
guys are
man.
so
Yeah.
important to me. I mean, every single one of you is important to me, and even the strangers that I come in contact with, because it's like that and it's over. And
Sometimes. Yep.
we need to be there for each other.
Yeah, I mean, the notes that I wrote down, the thing I think that comes across with you is it's kind of like a breath of fresh air with all the negativity out there. It seems like negativity is like 99% of what comes at us, right? That's all,
It sells. It does. It
right?
sells. That's what
Negativity
it.
sells. And then there's
Yeah.
Jim Sorum. And you've all, it's not like yesterday you decided to be like this. You've been doing this as long as I've known you. You've had this persona. And the way that you treat people, the way that you address people, the way that you don't make fun of people, the way that you can laugh at yourself, the way that you can joke around. I mean, one of the funnest things you and I have ever done is when we were in San Francisco, and I think it was '09, and we're at a Giants game, and you and I were singing Doors songs, Jim Morrison songs as we're walking down the street. And Brett Fletcher's like, OMG, what in the world is happening with these two psychotic people? And you and I are just laughing our butts off singing, Love Me Two Times. And I mean, it's just that's the neat part about you as a human being is that you don't care. You just, whatever you feel in that moment, you do it. And that to me is inspiring to all of us. It really
Yeah,
is.
I learned that from somebody I played golf with. He was, believe it or not, I used to play golf with a pastor, and not pastor, pastor, Al Pastor. Anyway, he told me, he said, Jim, the advice I can give you as a young man, I was probably 13 or 14. He said, don't get caught up in what the rest of the world thinks about you.
Yeah.
Be concerned with what you think about you. And of course, because he's a pastor, think about what God thinks about you. And he said, it's not what you do in public that matters, it's what you do in private. And I've never forgotten those words. So I tried to remain pretty consistent. I'm far from perfect, okay? Things frustrate me. When I see somebody picking on a friend of mine, look, I'm going to stand up for my friend, and I might say some things that I regret in that moment to try and protect my friend. It's never
Right.
malicious. It is just that, sorry, I've got to
Yeah.
protect the people I love.
Well, that's interesting about the time that when I came over to bring you to Jackie Robinson Stadium, that was my perception of Lori. She was mama bear, dude. She was watching me, and the message I got without any words being said was, "Do not let him get hurt."
Yep. And she says that on softball Wednesday nights. She'll go,
I
hey,
the
I know you
message
think,
the message that wasn't said was received 100%. I was like, okay, I feel, I feel you. I won't let him get hurt. Don't worry, don't worry. Oh my God, that was funny. Okay, so here reminds me of a saying that Tommy Lasorda used to say.
okay, we're going to have to wrap this up. I'm going to
Right.
say 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, 5 minutes. Tommy Lasorda used to say, we don't want to tell anybody when we're having a hard time because 90% don't care and 10% actually like that we're having a hard time.
That is correct. That is correct.
All
Misery
right,
loves
so
company.
misery loves company. All right, so using your guys' guidelines as far as this format,
Yeah.
what kind of music are you listening to, Jim?
Well, I think everybody knows that Lori and I are enamored with Led Zeppelin. We watch a lot of
Okay.
documentaries. We go to a lot of shows. The thing we like about music is you go see a show, and in these difficult times when there's so much negativity, you go to a show and everybody's there for the same reason. They want to hear some killer music that takes them back to a place that they were super happy. And
Yeah.
Zeppelin, it means a lot to us because for the very first time, sorry to embarrass you, Lori, um, she and I fell in love in a moment. We were talking about our favorite songs, our favorite bands, and I started talking about the song Thank You and
Hmm.
told her
Okay.
what it meant to me. And I looked over in that moment and she had tears in her eyes.
Hmm.
And I knew that, you know, love is not a visual. Love is not an idea. Love is about a connection. And it's when somebody opens up their heart and their soul, takes away all their inhibitors, and
Mm-hmm.
allows them into your life. It's the most powerful thing in the world, whether it is my love of Lori or my love of you. You've allowed me into your life. I allow you into my life. I don't wear a mask. I show you who I am. That's what music does for us. And beyond
Mm-hmm.
that, we'll listen to some Guns N' Roses. My favorite band that when I hear them come on is Alter Bridge.
Mm.
Just unbelievable, some of the lyrics and the power of their songs. Um, there's a song I can't remember the name of it. It's a love song, and Tremonti wrote it, and I thought it was about the love of his life. And after discovering what it was, it made me think of Bob Montero and his love of his mother. Makes me think about the love of my mother. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was about the time of her passing and what she meant to him.
Oh
That's
wow.
what music is. It
Yeah.
is the beat that you
Mm-hmm.
feel here, and then it's the lyrics that remind you of what is so
Mm-hmm.
important in life. So Alter Bridge is that sneaky band that the power of their music, but yet the subtlety of the lyrics that have entered my soul and allowed me to love deeper.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, the thing I'll say to you, Jim, is that have enhanced my life tremendously, and going almost 50 years back, dude. It's just unbelievable. It's amazing. Um,
Well, you've
in
done the
so many
same for
different
me.
in so many different ways, like not just baseball, not just this, not just and then 20 years ago when we started talking again, it was redefined, and then most recently after Janet passed away, it was redefined again as to what we talk about and think about and share. And yeah, my love for you, dude, is knows no end. I mean, I there's so many things where it was kind of like a tough love situation where you kick me in the pants, like, come on, man, what are you doing? Let some people in. Let's go.
I'm going to finish up with this. There have been, look, I've had a tremendous life, and I've never had any fear about losing my life. I worry about what I leave behind. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of people come into my life. And it's funny about life is people will come into your life and then they'll leave your life. And you'll go,
Mm-hmm.
wait, where'd they go?
Yeah.
But they were
Yeah.
there for a reason. They were there to teach you something
Mm-hmm.
along the way. And I've had a few people that have come into my life and saw things in me that I didn't know were there, believe it or not. And I'm not saying it because you're here. And your dad saw things I didn't see in me, and he invested in me
Mm-hmm.
and made me a better person. And then I have this other weird friend. His name is Jeff Barna. And I don't talk much about my career because I don't think my career defines me. It taught me some
Mm-hmm.
lessons. It's still competitive, a competitive
Mm-hmm.
thing, trying to do your best and win and all that. But Jeff saw some things I didn't see in me. And he's remained a constant and a great friend. And sometimes you need those people to come into your life to come close to realizing your potential. And
Mm-hmm.
look, I'm
Sure.
never going to realize my potential because I don't know what my potential is. Doesn't matter. I don't know what Emily's potential is. But what we can do is be here right now and be our best. You can't change yesterday. You can learn from it. You cannot really affect what tomorrow brings. But right here, right now, all we can do is love. And, I
100%.
look forward to this baseball show with you. I'm so
Oh,
thankful
it's going to be
for
fun.
you and
Yeah.
your dad coming in, and even a shout out to Marty. She was a good teen mom. And I can't thank you enough for being my friend, Derek. And I'm glad we've been able to
Thank
share
you,
this
man.
experience.
There's again, I thank you is it pales in comparison to what I feel for the I don't know fortune of being able to call you my friend. Life changing, dude. It's no joke. I mean, it's it's just our friendship and relationship has evolved so much over the years. And
As it should, as
yeah,
everybody's should.
and this show, interestingly enough, expands it even more and in different directions, which yeah, that's what I love about this show so much is just being able to expand on things that that interest people and include people.
Well, we're going to do
So
that with baseball. It'll become light. I appreciate you having an interest enough in interviewing a boring person like me.
you're not boring,
Unlimited.
dude.
So,
There's
but
so many
anyway,
things that you bring to the table that I think everybody would agree that it's remarkable. You're a remarkable human being. You really are.
oh, come on. I annoy
You
the
always
shit
dummy
out
it
of a
down.
lot of
You always
people.
dummy it down. It's funny. Like, oh, it wasn't that much. This is what I'll say about your consistent habit of dumbing it down. I saw you play golf. You, me, Janet, and my dad played golf.
That's right. I
It's
forgot about that.
it's amazing, man. It's like watching magic. It's like watching magic. Like you would tee off, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, look how close to the hole that is! It's insane." And then here I am over here and over there, and and then here's Jim, feet from the hole. Okay, all right, this is fun.
It's treated me well. I have many friends that are much better, but it's treated me
That
well.
is your niche. That is your niche. As much as I can call baseball my niche and sort of goes into the rest of my life, golf for sure is the thing that I think is your center. Your like when you're timing a car, top dead center. That is your top dead center is golf for various
It
reasons.
uh it when things get tough, sometimes I just step out back and I hit some balls,
Yeah,
I listen to
yeah,
music and clear my head. It does
yeah.
help.
Yeah, I
So,
do the same thing in my backyard. I have a mound I throw in the backyard for life therapy. Same thing. Same exact me versus me, just like what you're doing, Jim. It's a beautiful
well,
thing. It's like in the movie what was Billy Crystal where the guy says you just need to figure out that one thing.
Jack Palance, City Slickers.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
remember
city
those
slickers.
little
There you go.
moments. I try and learn from all the little things in life. So, dude, I look forward to seeing you Saturday.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome. Just make sure you get there like if you can get there around 9, that would be perfect because then we can just
I
take our time and yeah.
I'll be there.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right, brother man. Love you.
All right, man. Love you, brother.